Painting saved my life. I love to paint. Painting saved my life. And I can tell you this, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for painting. I was going through a really low point in my life. I was going through a divorce, had postpartum depression, and I was lost. I didn't know who I was. I moved 1,000 miles away to move back in with my parents, and I hated it. I hated every second of it. And so my sister saw my need for an outlet, and she invited me to a paint class in 2018. Now, this wasn't any normal paint class. This was a paint class where you could drink wine and have fun and let loose. But I just remember being so nervous, so nervous about the fact whether I would do well or not, and whether I would create something that I enjoyed or not. But then I realized it didn't matter if I created something great. It didn't matter if I did well. It just mattered that I created something. And this new form of self-expression was invigorating to me. It was intoxicating, thinking that I didn't have to use words to express myself. I wasn't constrained by syntax or delivery. I was free. And so I could ask myself, who was I? And who did I want to become? Painting really opened my eyes to the idea of persevering, of sticking it through, of giving myself a break when needed, but to always coming back. I remember some really difficult paint classes where I just couldn't leave the paint alone. I just kept coming back to it and coming back to it and coming back to it. And every time I did, it got worse and worse and worse because I just wouldn't let the paint dry. I wouldn't take a step back when I needed to. And so life is kind of that way. You need to take a break sometimes. And so I took a break from school and recently re-enrolled after 15 years. This was a long time, so it was a little scary. But painting gave me the courage to do that. And I realized that I could take something that was just a hobby and turn it into something more, because I started investing in painting. And the more I invested in painting, the better I got at it. I started investing in my own brushes, my own paints. And I realized this is more than just a hobby right now. Like this is bigger than that. And so I looked at other hobbies that I had, and one of them was criminal justice, like true crime documentaries. I love them. I binge them. True crime podcasts, I listen to them all the time. And I realized I could turn that into something more than just a hobby too. Going through my divorce really opened my eyes to another world, and painting helped me have the courage to enter that world of civil law and criminal justice. And so I went back to school, got my paralegal certificate, and while I did, I continued to paint. And I continued to do my thing in painting, and I got better. And as I got better, I gained more confidence, so it was circular. And the more I went to paint classes, I found myself challenging myself more and more inside and outside of the classroom, doing harder paintings, finding harder subjects to paint. And so I decided to go back to school again, and here I am now at CSN. And so painting really gave that to me, having the courage to realize that even though I took a break, I can come back to it. I can come back to school anytime that I want, and I can succeed. Another thing that painting also gave me was a new sense of self and a new sense of courage and confidence. And in that, I decided to join a dating app. So that was scary as well, but I had the courage to do it. Being courageous is doing something when you're scared and doing it anyways. So that's what I did. And I met the love of my life, and I took him to a paint class. He'd never been painting before. And so I got to see another side of him, and he got to see another side of me, the artist, the painter. And we fell in love over painting together. We fell in love doing things that we loved together. And I wouldn't have that if I didn't have painting. And I know as I get older, I will continue to paint. I will paint throughout my lifetime because it's very therapeutic. But I wonder sometimes if I will become brave enough to sell my paintings, to sell my artwork to those who like it and not just give it away. But in the meantime, I'm content with gifting it, and knowing that people enjoy it for what it is, a piece of me, because everyone is a piece of me. Every painting that I paint, I give a piece of myself. And so this is why I love to paint. It has helped me find myself. Painting has given me courage and confidence. and it's gotten me back to school. And I really am grateful that I found it at the time that I did, because I was at such a low point that I thought I didn't want to live anymore. And if I had given up, I would have given up painting because I hadn't found it yet. And so I wouldn't have any of these things in my life. So I'm really just grateful that I found it, and I'm grateful to my sister who introduced it to me. This is why I love painting.